Welcome back, Cobra fans. From a 2-week hiatus, we got a little busy last week, so we're kind of recap the 2 weeks that we missed this week. Gonna be another exciting episode. We got a packed show for you today. Include some impressive national rankings, thrilling victories, look ahead and what's in store for Cobra Athletics next week. Stick around as we dive into the standout performances for men's soccer, golf, women's soccer, and more. Let's kick things off with some quick headlines.
Yeah, so first up, men's soccer ranked 11th in the latest national poll and has been as high as 8 this season.
Little bit of a snub, I must say.
Yeah, it's insane to go from 8th and then have a 2-0 week beating 2 regionally ranked teams and then go down to 11th. But, whatever. And
just a number.
New rankings come out this week, so let's hope that we're higher than what we are because we sure deserve it.
Yeah, stay tuned to the Coker Instagram for that one. We'll put out a graphic as soon as we know.
9 wins in a row.
Record's 12.
Record's 12.
Alumni have been texting.
We're not going to say anything because we don't want to jinx it, but just know that is the record. So,
and people are aware.
People are aware.
Coker is, everybody knows.
Yes. Yep.
All right.
And then that was 2011, the 2011-2012 season. It's the last time. So,
and
that was when they were in Conference Carolina. So this is the longest win streak that we've had as a member of the South Atlantic Conference.
Let's see what the boys can whip up.
And then men's golf also in the national polls ranked 16th in the country in the Golf Coaches Association of America poll. And then some news that's not necessarily on a field or on a court. Baseball broke ground on their new hitting facility a little over a week ago. You may have seen a little bit of it on the Instagram, with Coach Fico and President Harder and Dr. Lynn Griffin with them officially breaking ground. And the whole baseball team was there. So, we were covering it, and it was a really cool moment to know that we have alumni and donors that are willing to rally around the university and give us the backing that we need to really be successful. Coming off of a really good baseball season too, where we hosted SAC championships. So, looking for them to go even further this year. Qualify for a national tournament, and that hitting facility is going to do loads for the development of our athletes and recruiting purposes too. Kids love to see that coming on campus,
especially to hang with schools in our conference too. With SAC being such a heavy baseball sport, every sport,
everything.
Definitely help Coach Fico and his squad out with recruiting.
Take some recruits from our friends up north.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then we'll roll right into
the 2-week
recap from the last 2 weeks.
So big 2 weeks for men's soccer team. As at the time when they were ranked number 8, they stuck it to crosstown rival FMU with a 2-0 win.
That's a great one to always have.
Yeah,
it's always a great taste in your mouth left when you can beat the dirty old Patriots.
But a goal is from Chopin from 35 yards out, followed by a strike from Koofman.
Bagging his beautiful goal, by the way, by Chopin. I put it up on the social media. He struck the crap out of that ball top corner.
There's been quite a number of beautiful goals by this men's team this year. Followed by a strike from Koofman, bagging his 8th goal of the season. The dish came from Benedict's for number 7 on the season. And then they did the same thing to number 8 again, but the LR Bears came into town on a Saturday night. That was a thrilling matchup to say the least. Here in the Ville, but won by a score of 3-1. A pretty convincing win against a quality opponent.
Yeah, and regionally ranked opponent, as was FMU.
Yeah,
by the way, but a 3-1 win, and tensions were high. You could tell that each team just did not like each other.
Fans got into it. It was It was a good night. It was a good night to be a Cobra that night.
Yeah, it was. You always want that competitive atmosphere.
As David would say, help the bear.
Yeah, help the bear. Hey, they sure had to help the bear.
Cooking up some captions over there.
But, hey, have to.
But after, like we said earlier, after the head scratching ranking, number 11 Cobras took it to Newberry 3-0. Kaiser and Duggan found the back of the net, as well as an own goal by Newberry. And then once again, persevered against Anderson and 1-0 on Saturday night. That was a game.
What a game.
Me and David watched that one. It looked like it was back and forth the whole game. Anderson, again, a quality opponent.
Yeah.
Just Cobras found a way to win it, and it was like
find a way.
Find a way. Doesn't matter. A win's a win.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the women's soccer side of things as well.
Absolutely.
But it was, I think, the 75th minute, I believe, was when the men scored their goal. So it was even, and it was like the Cobras had their chances, and they probably could have and should have scored earlier. But nonetheless, the
better team won. Better team won the game.
The better team did win the game, but I will say that Anderson put up a fight.
They did.
They played really well, and there was times in that game where they were outplaying the Cobras. So not an easy matchup at all, and it's a really, really quality win. Malarte got his first goal of the season, and he's a freshman back on that back line, so broke away off of a free kick by Benedicts as Benedicts has been really good distributing the ball this year and scoring himself, but mainly just on the distribution side of things, and just put a great ball in, and Malarte had a great run and just headed it right home. So what a goal, what an event, and hopefully we can get one of those two for a SAC Player of the Week.
Absolutely. And then now for the game that got us off our butt.
Yeah,
that one. This one was a thriller down to the wire, to say the least.
Women's soccer versus Anderson.
Yes. Takes down Anderson, completes the series sweep of men's and women's at Anderson, nonetheless. That was not a home matchup. Cooker found themselves down 1-0 for the majority of the game. The Trojans scored in about the 20th minute. And then, until then, it looked like
it didn't
look too promising. It did. Anderson had with majority of the possessions.
Yes, and Coker showed a couple. They
weren't out of it for sure. They were getting the ball down the field and getting their chances.
Things kind of came to a little bit of a lull in the second half, where it seemed pretty stagnant, but then things kind of got reinvigorated again, and I mean
it was out of nowhere. 80th minute, Mila Rouse. Look, the ball she played in was beautiful.
Insane.
And then it just, of course, who else would find the foot of Maya Clark? Put it home. Put the Cobras out.
Really good goal too.
Yeah, it was
because it was a great pass, a phenomenal pass.
And then she put that right in the bottom.
It was kind of an awkward angle.
Yeah, absolutely. And the goalie it was good positioning by the goalie. It was just a better shot. She placed that thing right in the corner.
Yeah.
And then it was 1-1 there for a little bit, just like when the Cobras were fighting for a tie. They just were like, let's just go out and win this one. As Silke Nielsen played another ball off a free kick.
No, not off.
It was not free kick. It was from the back line.
From all the way from the back line. And she's had some pretty good link-up play, but hasn't really logged an assist so far this year.
Well, she got herself one in this.
Yeah, and had just a beautiful ball up to Isabella Reichel, who, did the job, kind of shielded it off a little bit out of the contact, broke out, and then just slotted it home in that bottom left corner.
With what, 3 minutes left?
No, not even a minute and a half left on the clock. It was in the 88th minute of the game. It was insane.
Yeah, it was awesome to watch. I mean, we were like, no way, like this is a beautiful ball, and then all of a sudden it's in the back, and then we're like,
crazy. Yeah. What a win, and on the road.
I would have
loved for it to be here. I would have been going crazy on the broadcast.
And that puts women's soccer in a tie for 5th in the conference, so just on the cusp of that tournament bid.
Yeah, well then top 8 go, and they would match up against the number 4 team in the conference right now, which I believe is Carson, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to double check all that. But yeah, what a game in general.
Yeah, soccer on both sides has had a great weekend this past week,
and especially with the women being picked as the preseason.
Yeah, they all those schools counted us out, and it's gotta feel even better just sticking it to the teams that voted you all the way back.
And now they're tied for 5th, and the men voted number 5 in the preseason poll. How disrespectful is that?
Yeah, they said that.
Yeah, and now they're the clear number 2 team in the conference, and let's hope we can make it the number 1 team in the conference.
Yes,
with a hopefully an eventual rematch against Limestone.
That's coming. Stick around. We sit down with Micheal this week. Men's soccer head coach.
Talk with the head coach of men's soccer, Micheal Antoniewicz, and just really get down to the nitty gritty. But
now taking a break from the pitch.
Well, I pulled it up just the last thing, the standings for women's soccer. It's LMU that is 4th right now. So it's LR at 1, Catawba at 2, Wingate at 3, LMU at 4, and then there's 3 teams that are tied for 5th. It's Coker, Limestone, and Anderson. But we own the tiebreaker because we beat Limestone 2-0 at home, and we beat Anderson 2-1 on the road in a crazy win. So it's exciting. It's some great things happening. But yes, we will move off the pitch now
to the links.
Yes. So junior Daniela Gioni continued her strong fall, taking home her a first place trophy individually, while the Cobras placed 2nd as the team at the Newberry Invitational. This is her 2nd career first place finish. She's had a really, really good career here with the Cobras so far, and look to see her improve even more into the spring and then her senior year. She was accompanied by Haley George in the top 5, who finished 4th overall. So Gioni shot 18 over through 3 rounds of golf and to take first, and then George shot 23 over through the 3 rounds of golf. So that's 54 holes, I believe, 54 holes of golf, and so she took 4th. Another 2 to mention.
So looking at Gioni shot 4 over on that final day. Talk about clutch performance right there.
Yeah.
She went +6, +8, and then a +4 to round out the round. So
and then rounding out a top 15 for the women. Giselle Morta shot 13 over, 11 over, and 13 over in her 3 rounds to shoot 37 over, and then take 13th. And then Felicia Sundgren was looking for a great performance, had a little bit of an iffy third day, but shot 11 over, shot 14 over, and then unfortunately shot 24 over in her 3rd round to finish 49 over for 15th. But regardless, a top 15 finish, and she could have finished even higher if it wasn't for that little bit of a lapse on day 3. But that's it for golf. Women's tennis. As both tennis teams, we talked about the men's tennis finishing their fall season, but women's tennis finished their fall season this weekend. They went 4-0 over that weekend 2 weekends ago. They played Piedmont, Belmont Abbey, Johnson C. Smith, and I think North Carolina Wesleyan. I could be wrong on that last one, but they went 4-0. This was a little bit different. Most of the tournaments in the fall are individual tournaments, but this one was more of a team format, and had a couple girls go 4-0 on the weekend, and some great individual performances, to say the least. And a great fall season by both the tennis teams. Got a chance to have a couple conversations with both tennis coaches, and they're really excited for the teams in the spring, specifically the women's team, who they truly think can be a top 3 team in the South Atlantic Conference this year. So I'm really excited to watch them. All right, so our guest this week is none other than our head men's soccer coach, Micheal Antoniewicz. Micheal, it's great to have you on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so with, of course, with the success that you guys have been having this season, I mean, it was evident that we had to bring somebody from men's soccer on the podcast to have a conversation with, talk about the season. So, what his a 9-game win streak right now, and closing in, hopefully not going to on the record for the school is 12 in a row. So just not, I don't even want to talk about the future, but I want to, let's revisit the 9 games. I mean, even the 3 games before that, because the one loss was to a top 5 team in the country and the number 1 team in the conference. So, what has been you think the biggest factor for you guys in propelling that win streak forward?
I think there's a total buy-in from everyone within the program. It's every single day we want to demand the best from our guys. And at times we're not going to be at our best, but it's how we react from that day that we're maybe not at our best when it comes to practice or a game or one half of the game. And the reaction and the buy-in from our guys has been fantastic. Their work ethic, their mentality, their attitude every single day is second to none. And they hold each other accountable as well as themselves. And it makes my life and our staff's life a lot easier when we have a program and a bunch of boys that are like that. And there's a real hunger amongst the team right now, and it's just very pleasing, a really good environment to be around right now. It's something that we're excited to get better every day. We're excited for the next game, and we know every game in the SAC is a cup final. That's the way that we look at it. We take it one game at a time, and every game is a cup final for us. So the next game, Tusculum, is our cup final. That's what we want to focus on, and we don't look any farther than that. That's something that's been fully bought in from the first player all the way down to the bottom player. So it's been something that's been really pleasing to see.
So I guess piggybacking a little bit, what normally happens is when you lose, 2 of your best players, one to the portal and one to graduation, you usually see teams take a step back. And so, what's it been like? What for you? What have been maybe a couple key players for you that have been really good this season that are maybe could be new, could be returners that have allowed you guys to not take a step back after losing 2 really good quality pieces last year?
I think with the 2 quality players that we did lose, and Jack and Sally, they were fantastic players for the program. They were very, very special. And I think with them, they won us games individually based on their talent, but at times with the individualism that we had, it was something that maybe didn't help us in every single game. So with that's allowed other players in our team as returners to step up. If you look at our stats across the board, everyone is playing their part right now. Everyone in our starting lineup, on Saturday, has now all contributed, whether it's a goal and an assist, at least one. So we scored 37 goals so far, and our top goal scorer is with 8 goals. So it's spread across the whole team in terms of goals and assists, and that's something that hasn't been there in the past. So there's been returners that have been able to step up, and there's a real team mentality and a real team tactical way of the way that we're playing, where off the ball and on the ball, everyone can play their part. And when everyone does their piece and their roles and responsibilities, that allows everyone to get the best out of themselves as well and the best out of each other. So I feel like that's been the real pleasing thing, that all the newcomers have came in, they're fully bought into that team aspect. When you look at maybe some of our attacking players that do get stats, they're very, very good individually, but they do the team stuff that we ask them to do, the pressing, the repressing, the defensive shape that we have, and the stuff on the ball that, okay, if they're going to be marked up or doubled up on, then we have other people that are free, and instead of that individual wanting to take 2-3 men on, we're moving the ball on to the next person because we're very well rounded that every player can make an impact in the game. And there's been a full buy-in with the team when it comes to that.
Yeah, and I think that I can attest to that, seeing it from the a spectator point of view, that with you with your team, somebody can score 2 goals one day and then the next day, have a really good ball in that maybe doesn't get an assist, but, sets up the goal and then has an assist, so they can go from scoring a hat trick to not scoring at all, but still contributing to the game. And there's no, I didn't score today, or, I didn't do this. It is just a straight, movement forward, which is so good to see. And that's, with championship caliber teams, that's usually the recipe for success.
So coming off the last season when you guys lost to Limestone, how the guys that were here, have they told the other guys what it's like, what it felt like to lose that, and then come back with a vengeance this season? Inevitably you're gonna face them most likely.
Hopefully we see them again in a final.
Yeah,
as that is one of the best teams in the conference. So
yeah, I think for us, we want to be recognised and we want to be seen as one of the best teams in the country. And to do that, we have to beat those teams. And Limestone right now is one of those teams. So I hope we can get another chance of playing them again. The guys, I'm sure, after what happened last season in the game, in the 3rd or 4th game of the season when we played them, we know there's not a lot in it. This, in every game in the SAC, it's such small margins that we have to be on it from the first second to the last. For us, our main focus is Tusculum. That's what we want to focus on. We know that we can't take any game lightly. When hopefully that time comes that we do get to play Limestone, I know our guys will be ready, just as ready as what we will be to face Tusculum as well. But the guys know what was at hand. The guys know what we need to achieve to do what we want to do. And if Limestone is that team that we do have to go up against in whatever time of the season, I know our guys will be ready. I know our guys will be raring to go. And like I said, all of our guys know we want another crack at it. But like we said earlier, one game at a time, and Tusculum's our main focus, and we're hoping that we can take care of business there as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's got to be a little bit of bitter taste in the mouth in terms of Limestone, because 2 losses last year to them, 1 in the regular season and then 1 in the postseason, and then other than their game this year, you guys are undefeated, and so that's your lone loss. So I know that there was an interview that 2-year stretch of South Carolina women's basketball where they only lost 1 game, and all those players, they're like, oh yeah, we all remember that 1 loss. So I'm sure that this team is exactly like that. They've got a little bit of a taste in their mouth that is a little bitter, and I'm sure they're foaming at the mouth to go after them again.
Yeah, I think that loss, as funny as to say, it helped us as well. We learned a lot about ourselves after that game, where there were certain parts tactically and certain things mentally wise that we weren't at it in that game. And we felt at times through it, especially in that second half, Limestone grew in energy, and they were very loud, and we kind of went into a shell in that moment. And that was something that was a point of emphasis for us, that as we continue to have these rankings or continue to do well, and I hope we can continue to do that, teams are going to want to be able to give their best against us. When you're seen as that, teams are going to get up for that. We can't look at it as we're up here and this team's down here or whatever. We have to play every game like it's our last. We have to play every game like it's a cup final, and the guys are fully bought into that. But I didn't think it took till that Limestone game for us to say, right, this is what's going to come our way every single game. Obviously, Limestone had very high quality on top of their mentality and their mannerisms and the way that they did things. But it was a good wake-up call for us, and the guys have taken it in their stride to continue to keep having the run that we're having, and like I said, that hopefully we can continue to make that happen too.
Yeah, as much as it sucks to lose, sometimes it's almost like it makes championship teams, because you sometimes we just win all the time. You're just you kind of get complacent in where you are, and you start playing down to your opponents, and then when you get that 1 loss, you're like, well,
yeah.
It's almost like a wake-up call.
And then it's really hard to go undefeated and win a championship.
And then once you But it's like after that one loss, you guys just come back fire and like everybody's out for blood, and then it's just
There's a reason it never
different.
There's a reason it never happens in professional sports.
Mm-hmm. The sports in it.
Is it like take the NBA for example? The best record ever in the NBA was 73-9, and that team didn't win a championship. Mm-hmm. So you have to experience the losses, learn from them, move on, and I think you get better as a team because of it.
Yeah.
So speaking of some of the good games you guys have had this year, I'd be remiss to not mention the Lincoln Memorial game here at home. So what allowed you guys to put on such a great performance? I think it was 5-1, I believe, was the final, which, I think they're a top 25 team in I think they're 22 or 23 in the most recent poll.
Yeah.
So, at first it was, we beat them so badly that it knocked them out of the national standings, but then, they started to prove that they were a quality team. Mm-hmm. So how does it feel to beat a team like that? And I guess what really propelled it that day? Like, what was clicking?
Yeah, I think it was the mentality piece of our guys. We pressed very well defensively, and then when we lost the ball, we repressed very well as well, and we created many goal scoring opportunities from there. And like that, we have a really good group of guys that are so hungry, and we're not settling at any score line. We don't want to settle at any moment of the time. We don't care what it says on the scoreboard. We don't care what it says on the timer on the scoreboard. We keep going until it says 0. And that's the buy-in that we have. We have a lot of leaders in our group that continue to echo that message, that do a fantastic job day in, day out with our boys, and all the newcomers are fully bought in as well, and it's full credit to them as well for what they do and how they go about their business as well. So that message of we never stop, we keep going until that final whistle goes, I think allowed us to keep going, because it's very easy to see a scoreboard and see the time on the clock and take your foot off the gas, and we feel like we've worked too hard to cheat ourselves out of giving ourselves some time off. When you're on that field, you're giving it your all till you can't go anymore, and we've been able to have a deep squad to allow for that rotation to keep that energy level high, and everyone understands their role on the team, and there's once again that buy-in that allows us to keep going as well. So I think that there'll be times in games where we don't score 5 goals, and there has been games like with the Anderson game was a really tough game against a really good opponent, and we had a lot of the ball, we had a lot of chances, and we were able to get that one right with 15 minutes left. But that's through perseverance. Our guys didn't panic, our guys didn't get flustered. They have a belief. Once again, it doesn't matter what it says on the scoreboard. We keep doing what we're doing, and we know that hopefully the rewards will come as well. So I can't speak highly enough of our group right now. They've been, I said to the boys on Saturday night, it's an honour, and I'm proud to be able to coach this group right now. And our staff, Matt, Tony, Connor, work their butt off every single day. They do it, and the players are putting their efforts in to the best of their ability every day as well. It's a really good environment that we don't want it to end anytime soon. And like we said, we just got to take every day in our stride, and we get better that day, get a better understanding of each other that day, so we can continue to have performances like we did against LMU.
Yeah. One more question. What would you had a really, really high profile recruit standing right in front of you. What is one of the many things you would say? What's like the most profound thing that you could say to them to try to get them into your program?
It's we want to be the best. We want to be the best. We want to be the best program in the country. That's not changed from the first day that I stepped foot in here in 2019. When I interviewed for the job, it was to say I want to take this program to be the best level it possibly can be. And if we have a top level recruit that we feel has that buy-in mentality wise, and we feel like we can get the best out of them and they can get the best out of us with the way that we play, with their help, you can help us achieve our goal as well. And that's been the buy-in. The guys step foot on campus before pre-season where there's 100% buy-in, knowing what we are and who we are as a program and what we want to achieve. We're going to push them to be the best version of themselves every day. And if you want to be in an environment to be pushed, then this will be the place for you. We're not going to let you settle for mediocrity. We're not going to let you settle to in the classroom to kind of go through the motions. We want to demand you to be the best version of yourself, not just on the field, but in life. So you can go on to being successful in whatever you want to do. So with us, it's if you want to be a part of a program that's going to push to be the best in the country, not just on the field, but in academics with the team GPA, doing our piece in the community, being the best version of ourselves socially, making sure we make the right decisions off the field as well. All that encompasses in what Cobra men's soccer is. And that if you want to be a part of that, then we want you. And it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. But we're very open and honest about who we are and what we want to achieve in the program. If they want to come to us based on what we've told them and we want them, then that's the type of people that we want here.
It's honestly incredible how like you guys have so many international players come in every year, and then it's like every year you're like one of the most tightly knit teams on campus. Mm-hmm. So it just goes to shows like how the upperclassmen kind of bring these guys in, and then your team as a whole, how tight you guys are, almost like, like a little family.
Yeah, and that's what we want to say. We want to create a brotherhood amongst our program. We want to have that family environment. Our upperclassmen do a tremendous job. Every single day they do a tremendous job. They hold that weight of the expectations that we have on them as coaches, but also the expectation that the players have on them as well. They have to lead by example, not just on the field, but off the field. And we have leadership meetings weekly with our group where I want to create an environment where they feel open and honest to talk to me about everything and anything they can, whether it's concerns, whether it's something they want to bring to our attention, whether it's just thoughts or ideas moving forward. So it creates that environment where they're echoing what the staff are wanting as well. They're an extension of us, and I'm very fortunate to work with a group of players that I have as leaders and as a whole group as a whole as well. So with that, it makes it for a fun environment every day in training, and they'll get on at each other when it's not right, but it's in the right way. It's not in a derogatory way. It's not in a way where someone will bite back. As 18 to 22-year-old males, our ego will get in the way from time to time, mm-hmm. but they leave it all on the field, and it's a real family atmosphere, and it's something we want to continue to promote and to grow, and that's a key to why we're at this point this season as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Best of luck to the rest of the season, and especially Saturday against Tusculum. Alumni weekend.
Yep.
So we're going to have a pretty good crowd.
Yeah. I think we've got over 20 alums that are coming. We're very excited to have them here. We've got great alumni support, and we want to make sure that we can get back to them as well. They'll make sure they have a good experience this weekend.
I'm sure there'll be tons of cookouts, tons of things to do between the games. Sure, back in the little field, stuff to do.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. It'll be a good time.
Show out, support men's soccer and women's soccer this weekend too.
Yeah, for sure.
But thanks for coming on.
No, thanks for having me. Thank you.
But now... moving, we talked about what's happened.
Busy week ahead.
Insane. It is coming.
It is alumni weekend, aka homecoming week here in Hartsville. David's gonna start us off with what we got this week.
Yeah. So first, back out to the links. They've got golf goes to the Currahee Invitational at the Currahee Golf Club in Toccoa, Georgia. Today. So we're filming this on Monday. So it's today and tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday. And then volleyball, 2 pretty big games. They can hopefully take home some wins in both of them against Emory and Henry tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, and then against Newberry Friday night at 7 o'clock. So both games are at home. This is game 3 and game 4 of their 6-game homestand. Because they played a lot away to start the season. So be at both of those. Get loud. They need your support. They're going to get back in the win column this week, speaking into existence for sure. And I'm excited to watch them play for sure. And then field hockey has a really busy week. 3 games this week. At Meredith tomorrow at 6 p.m., and then against Lander at home Thursday night, 6 p.m. And then Converse Sunday. So our lone game on Sunday, we had to stretch out a little bit of the alumni weekend. Have 1 game Friday, 2 games Saturday, and then a game on Sunday. And that'll be at 1 p.m. against Converse, and that'll be their senior day. So come out and support field hockey and their efforts to get into the win column, and a great day to come out and support them would be senior day to support all those seniors that are leaving us. So
and now cross country, they're going to wrap up their season at the cross country championships for the South Atlantic Conference, at Newberry on Saturday. And then women's soccer is going to take on Tusculum at home at 4:30 p.m. That will be their senior day as well. Their senior day will actually be at halftime of the men's game, which starts at 7. So speaking of that, men's also take on Tusculum Saturday at 7. So and the men's senior night will be at the halftime of the women's game.
And
so it's a little bit of
women's senior night. Is halftime of the men's game. So they're flip flopping. The reasoning for them doing that is just so that, during halftime, the teams instead of just like having to no halftime to rest and talk to the team and all that, they're doing it in the opposite halftime so that way coaches can go talk to their teams during their own games during that halftime.
And especially for those seniors, it's pretty emotional for them, but their families as well. And having to do that right before your game is not always the best thing to do. I know my senior night in high school, it was right before the game, and you're kind of all up in.
Yeah, I did get emotional. I did mine in high school. Both my senior nights in the fall were at halftime, and then obviously, like I played tennis in the spring, so there's no really halftime.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
that's not a bad way to do things. But that's the busy of 2 weeks we have had, and the week we're going to have here at Coker. So we hope you enjoyed the show. For all the actions on the Cobra athletes, so we are excited for the upcoming competitions this week. Don't forget to support your teams at home or on the road. Stay tuned to Coker Cobra's social medias for updates. Thank you for listening, and as always, Go Cobras.
Go Cobras.